So far, there have only been 4 chapters released of the JoJoLands, and I am in love with JoJo's all over again. For those of you who have been living under a rock, the JoJoLands is the 9th and most likely final part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by the immortal vampire Hirohiko Araki. I say immortal vampire because this man not only doesn't age, but doesn't slow down either, since his skills as a mangaka have only gotten exponentially better over his lifelong career. If you want my opinion on the series as a whole, go check out my video where I rank all of the JoJo's parts. Trust me, I think you'll be surprised with some of the rankings. Instead, we're here to talk about the JoJoLands, and everything I love about it so far. Starting with the setting. JoJo's has always been spot on with its settings, whether that be something as grand as the United States Midwest, or to something as quaint as a small, cozy Japanese town. Almost all of them have been stellar, with each location offering so much to the overall feel and theme of their respective parts. The JoJoLands is no exception, as it takes place on the subtropical islands of Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, but from what I've heard and everything I've seen, it's an amazing place. A place well suited for Araki to depict, which he has done amazingly so far. Moments like our alternate universe Passione, taking a day drive across the big island, puts into perspective how, well, big these beautiful islands are, while feeling not small per se, but tight-knitted. I can't quite put my finger on why, but these moments give the islands a sort of strange yet immersive scale, as if you could just be dropped into the JoJoLands and explore Hawaii to your heart's content. I know that may sound kinda cheesy, but I appreciate it when series do stuff like this. Even JoJo's has done this before with Morio in Diamond is Unbreakable. Come on, don't tell me you wouldn't want to visit Morio in real life. Still though, there are some darker undertones that give Hawaii a bit of mystique to it. We don't know how far the drug cartels reaches, and I'm assuming their influence knows no bounds, to the point where it can manipulate social standings for its members, all thanks to the mechanisms. Our new protagonist, Jodio Joestar, describes the mechanisms as a universal constant and something he will trust to protect him. Basically, it's a fancy way of saying climbing the corporate ladder in the drug cartel. If you're a higher member and well respected in the cartel, good things will come to you. You'll get more money, more friends, and more everything. This extends to everybody around you as well, like Jodio's mother, Barbra Ann. Strange things happen to Barbra Ann, such as local schoolboys offering to carry her bags to work, or be there for her when it's raining with an umbrella, because of Jodio's mechanism, and his standing within the cartel. A lot of people have compared mechanisms to that of gravity or fate from the original JoJo's universe, but I don't agree. Fate was something that was predetermined and literally set in stone. While sometimes it could be tricky, fate decided your outcome from the get-go, whether you liked it or not. Mechanisms, so far, seem to be entirely up to the person that wields them. It's something one can choose to improve, to refine, or to strengthen. It implies that you can change your course of life as long as you believe and work with your own mechanism. I actually much prefer this to the fate system because, while I did very much enjoy it, I think that Araki kinda fumbled the ball in terms of its potential, specifically with Golden Experience Requiem and the flashback ending from Part 5, but that's for another video. The most important thing about mechanisms is it's what Jodio plans on using to achieve his goal of becoming filthy rich. Since Part 7 and onward, Araki has laid out the gist of each JoJo's part in just one sentence, usually within the first or second chapter. Steel Ball Run was about a boy learning to walk again. JoJolion was about a boy breaking a curse, and with the JoJoLands, it's the story about a boy becoming filthy rich in the subtropical islands. The boy in question is our new protagonist, Jodio Joestar, who plans on using his mechanism to do so, most likely by strengthening it and rising through the ranks of the cartel, much like his original universe counterpart. The thing that intrigues me so much about Jodio is as to why he wants to become filthy rich. It's not something altruistic, like ridding the streets of crime or overthrowing a big baddie. It's something far more personal, a chance to be truly happy. Jodio has a condition called antisocial personality disorder, meaning that he's essentially a diagnosed psychopath. Side effects of his condition can include absence of feelings for others such as guilt or remorse, inability to control their own actions, treating others very harshly, and repeatedly committing crimes. All these symptoms have been prevalent in the past 4 chapters, and I don't expect that to change soon, but the thing is that Jodio doesn't seem to realize them. Sure, he knows he's diagnosed and he knows the symptoms exist, but he can't seem to understand exactly why. He doesn't know why he never feels anything, and when he does, why does that emotion completely take over his body? He wants to be able to move past his condition and feel some sense of bliss, or more importantly, happiness. He worries that he will always stay the same. just kind of a person going through the motions of life without any emotion whatsoever. Just an empty husk of a human, clinging on to any hope to pull himself out of his mess and into a better life. So, how does he become happy? The conclusion that he came upon is that he needs to become filthy rich. Why though? How does his money correlate to his happiness? We don't exactly know, and the thing is that I don't think Jodio knows either. Being 15 years old, he ties in with his OG universe counterpart Giornio for the youngest protagonist in the series, but I think that's cheating a little bit. Giornio acted and looked nothing like a 15-year-old in the slightest, especially since he was the character with all of this strange wisdom and knowledge. Jodio, on the other hand, very much acts like a 15-year-old, because he has the exact opposite of strange wisdom and knowledge, since he can be really stupid, like falling for the DEA Breaking Bad drug trap. Not only that, but he also does things that normal kids like to do, like just finding a nice place to sit and play on a Switch, jam out to music in a car, or gush over his idol celebrity. I know I just talked up a storm about him being a psychopath and not feeling anything, but I think that his condition is way more complicated than we know yet, so the details are still a little hazy. That brings me back to my point of why Jodio thinks money will make him happy. The answer is that, well, he's 15. Like every 15-year-old, Jodio doesn't really know how the world works yet. All that he has ever known is making money by selling drugs or stealing stuff, so naturally, that's the ballpark his mind is going to be in. In the end, he doesn't really even know if money's the right answer, only that it might be, but he still has this doubt in the back of his head that a person like him just might be incapable of experiencing happiness. This also brings me back to the idea that Jodio will become filthy rich by the end of the JoJoLands, and the fact that I don't actually think that this goal will be achieved, at least not how we think. Another common trope, or even saying in media, is that money can't buy happiness. This of course means that no matter how many materialistic possessions you have, it won't ever be enough. You'll never truly be happy, but just left with wanting more. I have a feeling that Jodio will eventually discover this by the end of the series, and he won't become filthy rich with money, but instead rich in terms of the friends and relationships he has around him. I say relationships because of his stand, being named after objectively the best and my personal favorite Guns N' Roses song, November Rain. It's a song about many different things, but my interpretation has always been somebody about trying to help their friend, loved one, or partner who's going through a hard time, but they just keep getting pushed away. Whatever their situation is, the person in need just wants to be left alone because they feel that the world is out to get them, and asking for help would only make things worse. The end portion of the almost 8-minute long song is about the person trying to help their friend, because they know that everybody needs somebody, that you're not meant to be alone in this world, and there will always be someone there for you, even when you don't realize it. I have a feeling that Jodio will obtain his vast riches of money, but realize that what makes him truly happy are all of the friends that he made along the way. Though, of course, this is all speculation, and everything I said could be completely wrong, but it's fun to speculate, and trust me, there will be a lot more of that at the end of the video. But enough about Jodio. Let's talk about our other new Jo star, Dragona. Dragona, like Jodio, has a lot of room to expand as a character. I feel that we're going to learn a lot about him as the series moves forward, specifically in regards to his gender. As described by Jodio, Dragona is his older brother who likes dressing in girl fashion and gets cosmetic injections in his chest. I have a feeling that this will come up a lot more as the JoJoLands chugs on. Possibly we might get insight into what Dragona feels in regards to his gender. My prediction is that by the end of part 9, Dragona will come out as a trans female, as they learn to be who they want to be, and hopefully the people around them will help them through their journey. A gender transition story is something that I've never really seen done in any mainstream manga or anime before, since they can be hard to pull off in a respectful and satisfying manner. But if anybody can do it well, I have a feeling that Araki can, because he's not the type of person to dive headfirst into something that he hasn't thoroughly researched or thought out. As for the other members of the AU Passione, Usagi and Paco, I can't get enough of them. I'll admit, in the first 2 chapters, they seemed pretty, bland. Usagi seemed annoying, and I didn't like his design at first, but that all changed the second Araki gave him the beret. Holy crap, I don't know what it is, but this beret makes his design a near 10 out of 10, and before it was like a 4 or a 5. He also already is my favorite character in part 9 because of just how confident and funny he is. Moments like him getting out of paying for the rental car or his goofy walk make him so enjoyable to watch. Plus his stand is named after one of my favorite songs, Mate Kudasai, from my favorite band of all time, King Crimson. He also has a lot of room to develop as a character too, as his past is unknown, and it's probably not a happy one because it's been implied that he's a drug and alcohol abuser. He's very much like Paco. In fact, he and Usagi are kind of two sides of the same coin. At first, I wasn't super sold on Paco also. His attitude just didn't resonate with me. He seemed rather quiet and stuck up, a character trope I usually don't vibe with. I also wasn't a big fan of his character design, but now it's kind of grown on me. I'm a sucker for when anime characters have their own name on their hat or clothing. It's always funny to me for some reason. His attitude, on the other hand, I enjoy so much more, as he is kind of the serious one who bounces off Usagi in terms of humor really well. Like the time Usagi was doing the Breaking Bad explanation about the rocks and Paco just kinda told him to shut up. I think that he's a character that we'll also learn a lot more about, since he's a kleptomaniac, comes from an abused family, and disappeared for a year, possibly to go on a training arc, but who knows. I can't wait for this group dynamic to develop between the AU Passione, and who knows, we might get another member like Trish and Golden Wind, but hopefully nobody leaves this time. The last thing I want to discuss is speculation and alternate universe stuff. I have a big theory that is kind of shared by a lot of other people, but I think that the name Jodio is possibly a red herring. I still think it's very possible that Jodio's father is a Brando, but I kinda think that's the extent of their relationship. Instead, I have a strong feeling that Jodio has closer ties to another JoJo's villain. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. I think that Jodio might actually be more akin to an alternate universe counterpart to Diavolo, or something along those lines. There's a lot of evidence to support this theory, mainly that Jodio is a diagnosed psychopath and that Diavolo's big gimmick was that he was A, a psychopath, and B, had split personality disorder. His other personality being the cheerful teenager Vinegar Doppio. An even wilder theory, the alternate universe counterpart to Doppio is none other than Usagi Aloe. There isn't really much evidence to support this other than Usagi's stand being named after a song by King Crimson. I know that that's still a stretch, but just think about it. Doppio had a substand ability called Epitaph, a song by King Crimson, and a counterpart to the stand named King Crimson. Also, Rocky has reintroduced the main villains from past parts in the alternate universe like twice in a row now, and they have even had their same exact stands. So who's to say that you won't try to do something crazy with Jodio and Usagi? He literally did it last time in JoJoLand by fusing the Josefumi Kujo, who is the AU Josuke, and Yoshikage Kira, who is, well, Kira, but also kinda Jotaro. But I only did it because I'm so excited to see what we have in store for the future of JoJo's and the JoJoLands. Before we go, I just want to give a huge shout out to the super talented people at Chromaverse. If you don't know, they're the ones who have been doing the amazing fan coloring for the JoJoLands as seen in this video and on the thumbnail. Go give them a visit, trust me, it'll be worth your while. Just check the link in the description. I'll see you guys next time, have a good one.